Mike McCool here from the Royal Examiner, and today we're in our remote studio. We're in the offices of Sheriff Mark Butler. We're sitting on top of the high knob over here.
It's a great view,
Isn't it
isn't
a
it?
great view? Yeah, you can look at
It
Skyline
is.
High School and those beautiful homes across in the valley. And but Mark wanted us to come over to kind of talk about things. It's been a while since we got him in the studio, and he's kind of busy. So I said, well, I'll just come to you, and we're going to talk about the year in review. How's that, Mark?
Sounds good.
And talk about 2020 and maybe a few things that happened, since you've become elected, and some of the things you want to do going forward. So, Mark, what's number one on your list?
Well, the first thing, COVID was and still is. It's changed policing. It's changed the way we're living. It's changed everything. So, addressing that, we were very fortunate to have Major Driscoll, the only certified emergency manager in our county, working underneath this roof, and it actually helped us stay moving forward, opposed to completely shutting down and having issues as bad as we could have.
Stopping and starting over sometimes you have to do. This way here, you're just able to keep it moving.
It really kind of put us in a bind on overtime issues and budgeting. So now we have to basically, instead of replacing some of our faulty equipment, we're having to say, all right, we're going to have to reschedule, redo a plan so we can stay up. Our goal is to stay under budget like we did the first budget.
Sure.
And we want to continue. So if that means milking a vehicle a little longer, we'll try to do it. And right now we have 8 to 9 vehicles in our fleet. 21 vehicles in our fleet with over 80,000 miles on them. And those are 80,000 police miles. So they're not you and I miles.
Well, that's right. And over a short period of time.
Yeah, it's at least
You're not driving 20-year-old cars.
no, and they definitely get worked on. But Jerry and Aaron at the bus shop and all those guys down there, they've been amazing for us. The work that they turn out is 100% professional, and it's really a great benefit for the county. And the county really, they don't get the credit that they deserve. I can tell you that.
Let's talk about some of the bad things that's happened to you this year. Let's get the bad things out of the way, then we can talk about all the good things. Because you said at your campaign that you're going to take the bad things with the good things and stand up and answer bad things that happen and good things that happen, and you're not going to be just brushing them under the table. So
Everybody thinks, and I've been a cop a long time. I've talked to a lot of cops. Everybody thinks walking in and sitting in this chair, well, I can do it. I can do it. Well, I'm going to tell you, there are things, especially when you throw COVID and you throw civil unrest and you throw the elections and everything going on and the diversity between our country.
you learned a lot, haven't you?
Oh my gosh, I've grayed a lot. But we
You
have
still have hair though.
I
So.
do. My wife tells me I got some spots, but
Yeah.
the challenges that have came, we lost a good portion of our personnel who didn't want to be a part of this change, and it's understandable. That was a challenge that had to go. So
There were some leadership roles.
there was leadership role. Well, and you think about law enforcement, every deputy out there is a leader.
Right.
So you're looking for those roles that have the same vision and the mindset. Some work, some don't. Some it's just not a good fit, and some people just get burnt out on this job, and I get it. I do. So that's been a challenging role, and when you look at our deputies are getting paid or were getting paid in our comms and communications, it's a challenging tool to bring high qualified people into an area that you can make more money at Sheets. Once Ed came in and the board of supervisors have been phenomenal. These guys work way more than what they get.
Well, they're meeting with the midnight. You've been there,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and we're constantly, they're always there. If I need to call them, talk to them, they've been here, they're interested, so that's a challenge in itself, is their schedules are different, mine's different. But Ed's been amazing, Jody and all everybody over at the government center. We've gotten past the transition part, which was a hurdle because, they didn't know what I was about. I didn't know what they were about, and now that we've settled in, we're like, okay, we got our feet. It took us a good solid year to say, all right, this is our true vision. This is what we want. This is our mission statement.
And then they hit you in February with COVID. That all kind of went out the window.
Oh my gosh, right? And so, like I said, it changed the way we were doing policing. And one of the biggest things that I've run on is making our streets safer and removing the drugs from our county. And so it's hard to jump right into it, but as we move forward and change some of the direction that we're going in, and it took a lot of debating and all of us talking as an agency. That's one thing we do a little different, I think, than a lot of agencies, is no decision is made just from, okay, this is what we're going to do. It's, all right, what is your best plan that you have? What is your best plan? And then we sit down and hash out the best plan from consolidation of minds. And I think that's the best way to go in today's society.
Yeah. You've got no one person has all the answers.
No,
but
not at all.
But you can cover such a broad. Policing is not just out on patrol writing tickets.
No.
That's probably one of the smallest things you do, and
is.
that people don't really realize all the things that you cover in the areas that our sheriff department.
Well, that's another hurdle we're having to. I mean, our governor and Congress and everything else are changing laws, and
it's a moving target.
It is, and it's constantly changing, and so we're having to redevelop our policies and procedures to address that and still be productive and proactive. And that's been a difficult challenge, and it's going to continue to be. One, it's going to affect our budgets and training and so forth, which we were already behind the curve on.
Right.
So those are a lot of the obstacles that we're dealing with, but very fortunate. We've had some changes in command, and for whether it just be not on the same focus, not on the same direction, not that they're bad people, but or they were not fitting or gelling, or they have something else in mind down the road. Some just, that position's not right for me. Can you put me in this position? And that's ultimately our goal, is to put the best deputy in the best position to succeed, because then they're going to want to give 100%.
Well, what happens in business and anywhere else, and that is we change the job to fit the person instead of the person to fit the job.
Right.
And what we really need to do is, like what you said, is if it's not the job still needs to be done, and we got to find a person that fill it.
Correct.
And I think all business leaders suffer that problem. And if anybody has been around in business or noticed it, that's what you do. And all of a sudden, wait a minute, that job's completely evolved into a completely different job
Correct.
than what we needed done.
Correct.
And I'm sure you've run across that.
We are. I mean, there's things like we're looking at now on how can we save our documents better, be more secured, as we found just recently.
Right.
We're behind the times. Our infrastructure on technology and so forth, like our body cameras, our in-car cameras, are not up to standard, are not there as we go through the policies to get accredited, which I will tell you, Charles Bakke and the major and the whole department we've really put forth an effort. We're about 70% through that thick policy manual.
Well, that's one of your campaign promises, was to get the deputy, the sheriff's department, certified.
We're going to be accredited. We should be ready to knock on the door and have Leslie come in and start the process to be reaccredited by April. That's almost unheard of. And I really hats off to the guys for really pushing forth and taking ownership in it.
Right. Let's touch base quickly about some more bad stuff.
Okay.
Social media is killing everybody. You've had some social media run-ins this last year as well. And some of it probably helped.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know there's some people that we pulled out of the drug task force. I told that was part of my campaign plan.
Right.
I didn't say what my strategy was going to be. I just said we're going to attack it. I believe as law enforcement evolves, criminals do as well.
Oh, yes.
And I've taken the stats and the advice from all our experts out in the field, and they say we're a user hub. Well, user hub, the best way to attack it, in my opinion, is interdiction. Putting more officers on the street, being more proactive. So we decided to circle our wagons. Kind of get away from a same technology and modern, or an older style of policing. Task force is a good organization. I was part of a task force. Many of our deputies were part of a task force. They're good. But right now, we are facing epidemic numbers. And we felt it was best to pull our guys together, create solid teams that are actively, aggressively going out and going after the drugs to remove them from the street. Some of our task force officers are more experienced, more knowledge. We have a younger department. The only way my guys on the street are going to get that knowledge is to actually work with them. So by circling the wagons and actually all my department working together, now we're getting, instead of 6 guys or 4 guys, 3 guys, now we're hoping at the end to have 62 guys and girls working towards destroying the epidemic. And that's what our focus is.
Well, I think with the COVID, another thing it's brought in is this isolation. We talked about it with Robbie today when we came into the studio, does his monthly thing. By the way, Robbie does a great job for you. We'll give him a little plug there.
Robbie works his tail off.
Yeah.
That was, like I said, that was a great steal.
You get a lot out of those 32 hours he puts in, doesn't he?
Yes, I do.
He gives you a lot of hours. I think he's poor in math because you pay him for 32, and I know he works 64. So
hey, he smiles good though. But I will tell you what Robbie's done that's part of our political platform that we ran on, is educate the youth, mentor the youth, rehabilitate in the middle. But that's not our job. That's the jails and the other departments that we will try to assist. And then enforcement. So we're doing the enforcement, and now we have deputies working with the football teams. We're looking at, we've built a CAC, which is great, having the citizens be able to come in and actually be a part of what we're developing so they understand. Yeah. Homeowners associations. The sheriff's camp, instead of doing it and only being able to reach out to 20 kids for the summer, where we're looking at doing it in several different days so we can reach out to even more. We're looking at we're getting ready to start the auxiliary program in February, and what we really want to do is get with the schools and start a criminal justice program with the schools so we can get them.
Like an after school activity, like almost like a club, so to speak.
Exactly, but it's more like an ROTC,
right,
is what we're trying to do.
Well, I think if you fix these problems on the front end, it eliminates work out of you on the back end. It may be long term. You have to, and we've talked about that. During election times, about what's our focus. Is it just on today, which you have to have? But also you need to be focusing. You always hear that 30,000 foot view. You need to be focusing 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Exactly.
The next generation, and as you know, a lot of these. The criminal element in the day-to-day things are generational, it seems like, and I think you pretty much know. I told Robbie that you can drive down the road and you can look and see who's going to cause you problems. You can kind of drive down the street and say, well, that house, this house, that house, based upon experience that you've had. What you see.
Well, and like I said, the governor's Senate bill didn't help us any.
No. I had one hand behind your back. That's why a lot of people feel sometimes.
Exactly, and I really believe that our I'm 100% a belief of the Constitution. Smarter men than me wrote that thing, and it stated,
it works.
Heck of a test of time. And we start messing with that Constitution, we start messing with who we are as America. And I've raised my hand, just like many of the people in this department, in several different ways to protect the Constitution. We will continue, and the Sheriff's Office that is our job, enforce the laws and protect the Constitution. If we believe it is unconstitutional, we will speak with the Commonwealth Attorney, we will speak with other attorneys, and so forth, and we will stand with the Constitution, and people need to know that. I get emails quite frequently, hey, where do you stand on this? Well, if it's unconstitutional, I don't stand with it.
Right.
And do I think the masks help? I'm not a scientist. I don't know. Am I going to wear one? Well, yeah, because I need to be at work every day. So I'm gonna put restrictions on. Am I going to arrest someone for not wearing it? No. That's not I don't have that authority. The governor gave that to the health department. I am not going to arrest somebody because they have 15 people in their house or 20 people or whatever. I may tell you, hey, just can keep the noise down. That is part of our laws.
That's coded.
Right? But I'm not going to say you have more people. I just don't know that that's constitutional. And I believe John Bell's on the same page with me. We've had great lengthy discussions about it. We will look at everything that comes down from the governor's office. If it's constitutional, we will support it. If it's unconstitutional, and our lawyers in the county and our Commonwealth attorney say, hey, yeah, we agree it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, these are not opinions you're personally forming.
No, I don't have a personal. I told you that a long time ago.
Right.
January 1, I lost all personal opinions. I did. And I understand that. I don't have a personal opinion. When we're as sheriff of Warren County, my opinion is what the Warren County people say. And that's how it's got to be. I can't treat anyone differently. If, for instance, there was a post on social media that we saw just recently, and we obviously pointed out some deficiencies. What a lot of people don't understand is we are already investigating those administratively. We can't discuss them, obviously. They're administratively, and their
His favorite line is, I cannot confirm nor deny, right?
No, because I will. If I can confirm it, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But, it also, what I'm really concerned about more so is the possibility of criminal. And there is a possibility of criminal. That was things that we found just recently, which we knew our infrastructure, our technology infrastructure has been depleting and not up to standard. We're working through that as we've replaced some of the accomplishments we were talking about. We've had to replace our communication systems, our IT. We don't even have an IT guy directed for this public safety, which is it's a necessity in today's society and law enforcement. Everything is. Our body cameras, our in-car cameras, they're decent work. They'll record, but they won't always burn onto a CD, or we're losing them or something like that. So now we're looking at, okay, how can we get more secured? Because we did find a deficiency in our system.
And technology doesn't last like it used to.
No.
I mean, if you got even the government tells you used to have to, I can remember buying my first computer, you got to amortize that over 15 years.
Right.
Now that's
After
expensive.
6 months.
not at all. Just
Right.
you write it off.
Well, we just did a inventory. We're finally getting to where everything in this building is inventoried. You met one of the individuals earlier. Right. That's basically his job, is our logistics, vehicles and all our equipment. But we're finding that several of our computers are getting ready to fall out and be outdated. So, okay, there's no way you can fix every computer in one purchase. So now we have to figure out, okay, which ones do we have to do now moving forward, and try to put it in the budgets. So that goes back to, I'm not trying to eat the apple with one bite. We're going to try to take small bites one at a time.
Right.
So.
That's how you eat an elephant.
Yeah, right. It's pretty it's a challenge, but it's
Sure.
good. I'm enjoying the people that I get to work with every day, and the community. It seems like we're getting good responses and support from the community, and I think the community knows that the sheriff's office is there for them now.
Well, you've had like you say, you mentioned social media. You've had a few beat ups over the years, but so has everybody. But going forward, we've talked about a few bad things, but let's talk about some good things. And I think there's been a lot more good things than bad things. And
we have.
I think, and he's got this report here.
This is actually this report that you're talking about. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
The report that you did, we put together to discuss. We had a town hall with all our deputies.
Right.
And this is basically what we went over. To show them all their hard work that they have done.
Because sometimes people forget all the good things and things that got accomplished unless we remind them.
You don't even always realize. I mean, for instance, the very first budget that we came in that we had no control over, we were still able to purchase a lot of things and do a lot of things, and we still came in $295,000 under budget, which helped us moving forward. On one of our other things was getting compensation raises for our communications officers, which now we're at parity with the surrounding areas. It also helped get us 2 other positions, which that's where I talk about the Board of Supervisors just being amazing to work with, and they really are putting in a lot of effort. Our vehicle fleets, one of the things that we reached out and looked at, we had a lot of vehicles in this area that were either hybrid, very low to the ground, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, couldn't get in 2/3 of the communities, right? So they were really worthless vehicles, and they were depleted. They were just breaking down on us regularly.
When you go to one of these developments and the road is called 4-wheel drive, it's called that for a reason.
Right. So, we were sitting there looking at it, one of our, I was driving the white pickup truck for a while because it was the plain vehicle. It wasn't costly in the fleet. And I went to the Stairway to Heaven. I went down that road and I was like, you got to deliver papers back here? How in the world is that little car, that Dodge getting up there? It's grounding out. I said, so we gave him the 4-wheel drive truck, so he has the clearance, can get there. These are certain ways that we're trying to fill our holes within our agency. Another thing we had was we had a lot of vehicles that were just in the fleet and were only used for certain things. We hate getting rid of like the breast cancer awareness car, and we wish we had it, but it wasn't cost effective. So it was breaking down constantly, and all it really was a mobile picture. So we traded that in. We traded a lot of our others. So instead of selling them at an auction, we found we can trade them in, get a better value for the car, because in police auctions, it's pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were able to trade it in, and one of the guys said to me and said, "Chef, you can't do that." And I said, "Why not? We own them, right?" And then, yeah. I said, "Well, why don't we trade them in and get certified used vehicle?" Yes, the vehicle has 20,000 miles on it, but if they're for an administration or civil service, they're not doing pursuits. They don't need to be pursuit rated. So let's see if we can get these. So we were able to get 3 or 4 extra cars for the price of one,
Right.
by trading in and doing it. So we're trying to think out of the box a little bit to help the county and be prepared for the future. So we've done that. We've replaced all our service weapons. We're still in the process. We had to put some on hold to better our long rifles and so forth that are dated from Vietnam. We're working on doing that. We still haven't got 100% there. Our vests, we're now on a process that people don't understand. A bulletproof vest only lasts 3 years, 3 to 5 years, and they're about $1,000 a piece. So you have to really think that's $20,000 every year you're paying out.
Because you got to rotate those in.
Exactly. So it was never on a cycle or a budget.
It was like, we need 50 of them.
Yeah.
Instead of we need 5 of them, 10 a month or a year, whatever it is. Right?
So then you're going back up to the Board of Supervisors because it's such a large sum.
Yeah.
And so now what we're doing is we're actually getting on a cycle to where we're able to get out the old and bad and just replacing it. It's already booked into the budget. So we know our operating expenses are going to be so much. And really, we're hoping by the end of this year, the only thing that should ever change will be the taxes or the increases in salaries. That should be, everything else should be, okay, that's our budget. Now, obviously, fuel costs and so forth, that will go up and down. But we were able to do that. Less lethal, we found we were very much just not even in the game. Our tasers were all either out of warranty, taser didn't even back them anymore, the X26s, and half of our guys weren't certified to even carry them, so we had to remove them from the street. So our less lethal was coming down very limited. And then when we had certain events that happened this year, we had to prepare for that. And obviously, we can watch the news. That's all we do in here, is look at all the different possible events. We weren't prepared for it. So that's one of the things we'll be addressing this year's budget is, okay, we need to get there.
And you don't want to, if you can use a non-lethal device, that's preferred.
Anytime we can send our community member home safely, as well as our deputies, we want to do that. So we want to prepare them with the training and so forth. And some of the things that I said I was going to do is bring training to the department. We've been able to work with HIDA. HIDA has a lot more to offer than just giving funds and so forth. Our big conference room, we are now in the process of becoming a satellite training office for HIDA. So I'm hoping to have that opened up to where law enforcement members from the area will be able to come get free training almost 3 to 4 times a week is where we're hoping to be. Now COVID restrictions,
Sure.
we'll have to see because you can only have so many people.
Sure.
But that's one of the things we're pretty much already set in stone, and I'm really fortunate that way because I was part of the HIDA task force in Northern Virginia. So
And what's that stand for?
high intensity drug trafficking.
There you go. So you got to using all these acronyms.
I'm sorry.
You got to use this police language. We say, "Oh, that sounds good. What's it mean?"
Right? So we've had a lot of things. Our canine program.
We know what that means.
We do. Our canine program, we really looked at it. I knew I wanted to get dogs, especially bloodhounds, and at least some. And we really thought, well, okay, we'll get one bloodhound. But when
Everybody thinks they're all German shepherds, but they're
right?
not, are they?
Oh no, they're great. Ash and Rooster. Rooster's already received a life-saving award. We meant to call y'all over for that one when we gave them out. It's a life-saving award's pretty, the dog's a puppy still and already
Sure.
saved a life.
Yeah.
So what's a life worth? We spent a little bit, but we also were able to get a lot of it on grants and a lot of it we've built some really good relationships with surrounding areas and jurisdictions. I talked to the sheriffs, Bob Mosier, Lenny Milholland, Tim Carter, on a frequently basis. I mean, it's a regular basis that we're talking. Bob Mosier's been an amazing mentor for me. We're actually building relationships with the fire department and so forth. You saw that with the radios. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, some of these relationships haven't occurred for quite some time.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Well, you mentioned grants. I know you've been really, really active this year in grant writing. And talking to Robbie, it seems like, well, we got a grant for this and a grant for that. I mean, all these grants, there's a lot of them out there, but they just don't show up on your doorstep.
They're not free.
You have to, there's always strings, but you also have to go get them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're
Yeah.
not free because
There's only so many, and they go to the.
Exactly. And, speaking of grants, and then you look at the comp board, a lot of people see my budget and they're like, well, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But what they don't understand is that the state, being part of the comp board and being a sheriff's office, reimburses us over $1.5 million every year to go towards our salaries. And they also, if you put in and you work it, and you not work the system, but if you do it effectively, they reimburse on some of your computers and et cetera and so
Right.
forth.
If you ask.
If you ask. If you don't ask, you're not getting back.
That's right.
So we received about $155,000 this year from the state that had never been asked for. So Patty Baggerly has really been
Right.
on the ball with that.
She's real assertive, let me use that word.
Oh yeah, she is. She is, but she's another wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience coming from the academy and so forth, and dealing with
Right,
the comp board that I don't know. I'm very fortunate to have
Yeah,
her
good
working for
person.
me.
What else you got on your list here?
Let's see. Well, like I said,
We're only on page 1.
rebuilt comms completely. The body worn cameras, we have an updated system, same as the town, and a lot of our equipment we're trying to make it compatible or the same as the town, so the Commonwealth Attorney doesn't have to spend extra money, and so on and so forth.
I can remember when those body cams first came out. Boy, the sheriff's department or the police.
Nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted. We don't want these things. Now all of a sudden whoa, these things are great.
Oh yeah,
for both sides.
I was one of those
Yeah.
guys. I was like, nah, I
I'm
don't
not
want that
wearing
thing.
one. I'm not wearing one.
And then you start realizing, oh, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
This is a really
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
Our specialty units, the spade team that we talk about, we have 6 individuals in spade.
And that stands for?
Special problems and drug enforcement. And it goes anywhere from a homicide to something we just can't figure out. We just know it isn't right.
Right.
These are the guys that are...
Doesn't smell right.
Right.
It's a smell test. Yeah.
But, they actually have a canine dog as well that was actually given to us. This company, that it was donated to us, and we were able to get them into the training and get it there. It's a great dog, and these guys are out doing interdiction. But then what's also so good about it and having them back is, so now if I have a major crime, I can throw them right into investigations as well. And now I have 10 people working a crime that we can do crime scene and ever be more proficient and more up to date. Redesign the layout of the building. Believe it or not, that was a task in itself. But it wouldn't have passed accreditation before. We had certain areas that were unsecured that were holding certain areas. We're like, no, we got to get this secured so we can pass accreditation. Cell phones. Believe it or not.
Mark's got the smallest office, by the way.
And pretty close, right? I think Cap Mumal has the biggest,
Yeah.
but he's got the best one.
I thought, well, normally you go in, you look for the boss, he's got the big office. No, Mark's
I'm
at
in
the end of the
corner,
hall, in
and
the
it's
corner,
cold.
and it's cold, and it's tiny.
The updated radio towers, several security falls within the infrastructure.
And I remember you going before the Board of Supervisors, working the radio problem that you had. And again, we have a mountainous area. We're not like just in a city with flat land. We have mountains and long range areas.
It's very bad. I was out on a call with another deputy, and it was a concerning call, and our radios weren't working, cell phones weren't working, so literally we had to go down the street.
It's like the movie, you hold your phone up in the air.
Right, and so I was looking at it, I said, are our deputies doing this? And yeah, Sheriff, except the bad part about it is they're having to come all the way from, say, Apple Mountain into town to the sheriff's office to use the phone. And I was like, they don't have cell phones? And no, and so we looked at it and we were like, well, it's really imperative because of the towers and everything, the way we're situated geographically, that we needed to enhance that and give them the tools and technology. Plus, you want them to be able to call the people and get faster responses, especially with COVID. Some of our calls that they were being able to call the complainant right away,
Right.
And you don't want them having to use their personal phone. It's foiable, and you don't want them worrying about what they text, what's going on in their personal lives.
Sure.
That was one of the things, and it was big. The command bus is huge. We're actually working with Rick Farrell and the fire department to be able to take that bus so it can be used for multi-factions, a rehab, mobile communications center. It's not just your typical command bus. It's actually going to be a mobile tactical operations center, or TOC, as we would call it in the military.
Okay.
I would say probably one of the best things we did was the Citizens Advisory Council. We're getting great responses from them, and moving forward.
And you had quite a few people step up that wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, what we're trying to do now is we'd like to we have so many people want to donate, but the way it's set up with the sheriff's office now, you can either only donate to the Project Lifesaver or the Fun Day, Sheriff's Camp. So what we're really trying to do is hoping somebody will step up and join the Sheriff's Office and the Police Foundation together. That way when people do want to donate, there is a place that they can get a tax write-off and so forth and put towards the equipment for our guys so they are safer and we do have better equipment. Increase of felony arrests have gone up 100% from last year. You saw the stats; they were right there. That means our guys are working, even in COVID. When everything was, could you imagine if COVID hadn't hit, how much our guys are really out on the street trying to do what's right? Yes, we have incidents. Every agency does. But what I hear mostly that I'm really proud about is when I run into people, everybody's waving and saying hi now.
Sure.
And so many positive. I guarantee if there's one bad thing that comes out on the sheriff's office, we're getting 10 and 15 positive.
Right.
So I'm happy about it.
Right.
I am.
Well, just right out here in front of your building, Tim Radigan put on the Back to Blue parade, and
Right.
in a 2-hour period, we had 127 cars in that thing. People, I said, "When did you hear about that?" "Just heard about it. I'm here. I'm supporting." And you had and he's continued out and put the yard signs out.
Yes.
Several hundred of these things. Yeah, this is not the sheriff's office
No,
doing it. This
or
is
police
private
department.
individuals
Yeah.
that are banded together to show the support to our local law enforcement, both the town and the sheriff's department. So I think our community has come together. Unlike a lot of communities, we're not about defunding the police in Warren County, I don't think.
Agreed, but I think the people know and should know that the sheriff's office is going to be there to protect them.
Right.
Not only in a dangerous situation, but we're going to be there to protect your constitutional rights too. You know, and one of the calls that I get quite frequently is, well, this person's shooting on my property.
Right.
And I understand that it's a noise violation and maybe bothering you, but I can't impose or affect this person's constitutional rights to protect your constitutional rights. That then becomes a civil matter y'all need to discuss. But we will go out on every call and we'll check it. Hey, you know what? He's shooting his firearms safely, doing this, then that, and we'll try to explain it to the person. And I think Robbie's been great with that. Jeff Holzbauer's been great with that, and all our deputies have been really great with it. We're working on getting every single one of our deputies CIT certified, which is crisis intervention training. And we're moving forward. It's going to take us some time. It may not happen this term. We'll have it done by my second term. I really believe that. I guess one of the biggest things for us is the last two things, and that was a balanced agency. And when I say that is, if you look at the military, you look at large organizations, in today's society, you look at a lot of departments, they're extremely top heavy. We're not. We are taking 1 in 5, the ratio 1 in 5, so which gives us more workers on the street doing the job. So one supervisor is in charge of 5 people. And that seems to be working well across the board. It's worked well in the military, where you were in the military. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be, we're getting more cohesiveness, and we're also getting whatever's coming down the chain is coming back up the chain.
Right. Quicker.
Yeah, a lot quicker and a lot more effective. And I'm very happy with it. I think we were top heavy before.
That's what people always accuse government of. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Right.
We need more workers. And
100%.
You look at I noticed the town and different departments in the county, any government. You have a person supervising 3 people, and they're making them $100,000 a year to supervise 3 people, and other guys making $80,000. He's supervising 52 people. There's a lot of inequities, mm-hmm. And why is one person supervising 3 people at the same level? Is that really a department head? And I think you've mentioned that until your department. Well, we can consolidate some of these departments together, streamline our supervision, and make it more responsible down, like you say, up and down. It works a lot better.
We're getting better. We're getting better. We're always.
We want instant results, though, Mark.
But you know what? If you look at, like I just said, with the account, that's pretty instant.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in the first year.
Yeah.
I really thought most of this, it would have taken us 3 years to do.
Right. This last thing on your list, that's an important thing too. I think people kind of blow over that, but I think it's important.
I'm
reading it upside down, so I kind of know what it is.
This is a very thankless job. People do not do this for the money. If they're doing it for the money, they're in the wrong business. But it's important to reward. And Captain Muma and myself sat down and we talked about an awards program, and he really put forth the effort, pushed it out. But the one thing about it is, if a deputy gets an award, it's been looked at, scrutinized. Did he really deserve? Did he or she really?
It wasn't one of those
deserve it?
everybody gets an award.
Right. No, we don't give everybody a trophy in
right.
the Warren County
That's
Sheriff's
right.
Office. And the other thing with the awards program is also the discipline program. And the way we have it set up now, if someone files a complaint on a deputy, it automatically gets sent to their supervisor, who starts in internal affairs. From then, it'll get moved up to internal affairs, or see if it's criminal or administrative. And if it's criminal, obviously, we're going to discuss with John Bell, or we're going to call the state police and have them investigate. I don't feel it's good for us to be investigating criminal on ourselves. So we will call an outside entity to come in and actually look at it. That's something we're actually dealing with right now. And if an individual has violated the law, unfortunately, they will be prosecuted with the law. When I say unfortunate, is because you never want one of your law enforcement officers to be in that position, because they're supposed to hold themselves to a higher standard. But we will hold the sheriff's office to a higher standard. Period. I don't care who it is. Matter of fact,
He said he'd give his mother a ticket. So.
matter of fact, and Cale McGillis can vouch for this. My wife got pulled over. She got pulled over.
By the police or by the sheriff?
By the town police.
Oh, yeah?
And I said,
Press hard, 5 copies.
exactly. I said, don't call me. And he goes, well, she didn't even tell them. I said, she's been told not to.
That's right.
And she won't. And because, my wife.
We don't have 2 set of laws, do we?
No.
It's 1 set of law.
No, and I really take that seriously.
And we see that we feel that in our federal case. We think that there's 2 sets of, for those and the haves and the have-nots, but that doesn't work in real life. I mean, I think it's, the Constitution, it covers everybody, and our state law is supposed to cover everybody equally. And I think that's what really frustrates people more than anything about law enforcement and the judicial system is people feel like there's good old boy networks. There's 1 set of rules for you and another set of rules for everybody else. And I know that you're not that kind of person. I mean, you definitely want to try to level the field.
Mike, let's really look at it. I mean, it wasn't the smoothest of campaigns.
No.
Right? And Captain Moomaw is a very good friend of one of my opponents.
Right.
Mickey Licklider actually ran against me.
Right.
Mickey works for me still.
Right.
One of my opponent's sons.
And he thinks a lot of you.
And I do, but one of my other, opponent's sons, I just put him in the academy.
Yeah.
Giving him a shot to be a deputy. I think he's worked very well for us. He's really became, I've seen him grow over the year to be more mature, take a leadership role. That's what we were looking for. Bob Moomaw is my captain. I don't know too many sheriffs that would have done that. But the facts are that these individuals, they didn't get this. They earned it.
Right.
And just because you think the sky is black and I think it's blue, well, we can agree to disagree. But if you meet the criteria, then guess what? Then if you've earned it, you deserve it. Yeah. And that's where we're going to be in the sheriff's office. That's how we're going to treat the community. Yeah. And I tell everybody, at the end of 4 years, if I feel that I'm not what's best for this sheriff's office and what we're doing is not best, then I won't run again. But I got to tell you, I'm really happy where we're at. Right. And I think by the end of 8, we can definitely be probably one of the most, that's my goal, be the most respected sheriff's office in the country. When we get there, I don't know, but if I aim here, I'll get here. If I aim here, I'll probably just get right.
That's right. That's right. You always aim high. That's a.
You're gonna.
We had that in the Air Force. I know you weren't in the Air Force.
My son's in the Air Force. So.
Aim high. That was our our motto. Aim high.
We're gonna do some things that people aren't gonna like. They're not gonna like my decision on everything. I get that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, there's everything that we're doing. is really analyzed between the department. If it's one section, we bring that section in. Okay, what's best? How can we be more proficient, more effective, and provide a better product? And we come up with a consolidated plan. This isn't a socialism going on here. This isn't communism, dictatorship. This is a true organization working together, and I'm proud of that.
Well, Mark, I appreciate you taking this time. That we've kind of scattered around the topic, so we're going to have to get you back where we can narrow it down to smaller bites.
You know, you
Won't
can
go
ask me
on.
whatever you want.
I know you have been very open on that, and I've tried to give you some space. I've asked Mark a couple times, and we've talked over the last year or so, and I said, well, Mark, you can deal with that. We'll just talk to Robbie.
Right. Robbie's got that better smile.
Yeah, he's better good at it. So better good at it.
I do appreciate y'all coming out, and I did think that it was good for the community to understand that what we've done for them this year, as a whole. I really believe we're moving in the right direction. I'm very proud of that.
And if anybody has any concerns at all, your door is open.
My door is always open.
And feel free to contact you, right? I mean,
I've talked pretty much to a lot of people you see on social media. All you had to do is ask me. I'll tell you what's going on. I'll tell you what I can tell you.
Right.
But I will be straightforward with you. And there's always the FOIA process.
Right.
Unfortunately, though, the FOIA process, some of it costs so much money you're taking away that person for a day to work, and we don't have all the people we need.
Right.
But we'll discuss that in the budget.
You've been pretty good about that. Well, again, Mark, I really appreciate you taking the time talking to us, letting us know what's going on in the sheriff's office.
Thank you very much.
And we will be in touch, and we'll hold your feet to the fire.
I know.
Well, we will make sure that you're going to do what you said you were going to do, because we want politicians that do what they say they're going to do.
Well, first of all, I'm not a politician.
I know, everybody says that.
No, I truly am not.
But this job has really become, I know you spent your whole career in law enforcement, and now you're behind a desk where I know you do get out. I know people say that Mark's on patrol, but you do get out on the street. But this takes an administrative role. This is like a CEO of a big corporation. You got hundreds. What's 150?
No, we have about 100 people.
About 100 people, and directly and some indirectly, and plus other organizations. So it's a big operation.
Like I said, I do go out on the street, and I do. That is my job.
Robbie's setting up a ride along with me. We're going to take our little. We're going to.
That'd be awesome.
We're going to do that, and of course we have to get the rules set. You know what we can do and what we can't do.
That'd be awesome.
HIPAA and everything, other requirements that you have. But we're going to go out and see what a real deputy does on a Friday night or something, and see what.
Know what, that we'll work that out. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, because these guys really do work. And
I said I don't want to go with Robbie, because all we see is little old ladies, helping them across the street. I want to go out with a real deputy sheriff.
We're at the same manpower as we were in 2013, and obviously our population has increased considerably.
Right.
I think we're well over 40,000 now. Or we're definitely over 40,000, and our staffing is really the same. So if you think about it, you get one guy who's on training, and then you get another guy who's on vacation. Well, now you're really working with a small amount of individuals on the street. You're at minimum staffing. Yeah. So now you have a call that happens in Browntown and a call that happens in Apple Mountain. It's going to take you quite a bit of time to get back up.
Years ago, a call was 45 minutes before anybody could ever show up, and that was quick.
Right, and I didn't understand that. So now what we've done is, like I said, we've talked about sectors. We have guys that are assigned sectors.
And they stay there.
They for the most part, but they do have to go into other sectors to back up. But if you look at it, that's why Bob's, Cap Mumal's always showing up on scenes. I'm showing up on scenes. Major's showing up on scenes. We're trying to get a lot of our command staff. Our command staff, there's really no more white shirts.
Right, I noticed that. We joked about that during the election.
Right.
And I said, oh, no, you'll be in that white shirt. I've only seen you one time. I think.
If I'm asking the Board of Supervisors for serious money, I'm coming with a white shirt.
Yeah, but most of the time you got your brown shirt on, even then. But yeah, you showed up a couple times, and then it's a white polo shirt on top of that. Yeah, so very rare do you wear that white shirt, and that's a big change.
Because, nobody wants to get dirty if you're wearing a white shirt.
Oh, well, that's right. And it never gets dirty
No.
in the past. So
I'm not going there.
We won't go there.
You know, I will tell you, I have a.
Looks good though on you.
I will say this. Like anything, there's things I don't understand, but there's things I do understand now. I have a broader picture, broader view, and it's a different view sitting from this side of the desk than that side.
It always is.
And you know, we are very fortunate to live in the community we live in, and I want to uphold. There's been some good sheriffs that sit behind this desk. There have been. Looking back now at what I see in this,
when you look at it from another set of eyes, it's a whole different.
Right, and you know, there's certain things that maybe I should be more like certain areas in this instance, but and you look at it. If you can't look back, then you'll never be able to look forward. So.
Well, we hope there's bigger and better things planned for 2021. I know that you will have them on this sheet to go and look and pursue, and it'll be better than 2020 was. And
I think so. I really do. I think our biggest
Robbie says you're going to be thinking out of the box. So
we're always thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
Always thinking out of the box. We're always trying. We're in the process of one right now that to attack our drug program.
Right.
I think he told you about the burn bags and so forth.
Right.
That's another way, and you know, but there's a couple things we're looking at.
We're going to be checking up on you from time to time, and
please do. I'm telling you, my door's always open.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it.
Always open.
Again, Mark, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. Appreciate that. Get the hand sanitizer.
I know. I got some right here. I do.
And but that's another topic we could talk about as we go forward. But again, thanks so much for talking to us. Remember, if you have some concern with the Sheriff's Department, please reach out. You can contact them on their website. You can call them on the phone, send them an email, and I know they're very responsive. Most of the time he answers my phone call, but or at least he'll send me a text back, I'm busy, call me later.
There's a lot of meetings.
There are a lot of meetings.
You know, I think between the major and I, in this office in Kaboom Mall, I think we average probably 12 to 15 hour days.
Yeah.
Still.
I want to give a plug real quick to Jeff, your major. He's really changed a lot, your press releases and your communications with the community. And he's stepped up here this last year, because that was a real problem. And he's made a real effort and been very open. Anytime we have a question to clarify something, he was right on it. And so that's a big plus for you, because that's been a problem for quite a few years.
He does really, that man. He's worth his weight in gold. And right now, a lot of people don't realize, with all his law enforcement experience, he's actually going to the academy. He's in the academy right now, and he didn't have to be. He could have taken that position and been an administrator with minimal, no arrest. The only thing he couldn't do is arrest. And Major Driscoll is no, I'll go through it. And he's literally
he's not a spring chicken, is he?
No, but he's actually did very well with the law fit. You don't want to challenge that little man. But he sets the example.
That's what you have to do.
I'm very proud to have him as my major. Right. He's been a great.
Right. So I wanted to give him that plug. So
appreciate that.
He's not here to get that award, but he deserves one. He's a good guy, and you have a lot of great guys.
If you look at the hours that Patty Baggerly puts in,
yes.
what she does, oh my gosh, you can't remold that.
No,
I mean that work ethic is just impeccable.
It's a missing link.
Yeah, it really is, and she's really on top of it from everything.
Well, that's a reflection of good management. And when your people don't turn over every week and they stay around with you a long time.
We're hoping to keep that.
Well,
we're
keep
hoping
it going.
To keep that. You do. You have things that people's lives change.
It does change. We just have to be able to adapt and move on.
And this is not the easiest of professions, especially in today's society. It's not. You don't see a lot of people retiring, staying 20 years in law enforcement, 30 years.
No.
You're seeing people come in, say, "Hey, you know what? That was a good time. I'm moving on to a different career."
Right.
And we're hoping to keep the turnover down.
Yeah.
It saves us in the long run.
Sure does.
Every person we have in the academy, you can basically look at $70,000 to $100,000 overtime.
Yep.
And a lot of people just don't realize that. And the overtime is, I don't know that you can ever manage overtime in a
Because you don't know what's going to
You
happen.
don't. I think COVID really hit us with the overtime budget. The special events that happened this year that we had to prepare for hit us really hard with overtime. Obviously, the turnover hit us a little hard with overtime. So it's been an ever going thing. But as we move forward, we're starting to see our applicant base, the quality of applicants, really increase. We're getting, just the other day, we got an individual with 27 years experience who is certified in many, many things that can help our agency that we're looking at and is in the process. Big problem is being able to pay an individual that. So, they have to come from a different agency to
Well,
get it.
and sometimes these people are just looking for a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
They want to get out of the city. They want to come to the country. So
and a lot of
pay's
things,
not people don't
No.
always move for pay. People
No.
say, "Oh, it's always the pay." No, pay is down the list quite a bit.
if you're looking at a perfect world, and I believe the fire chief will probably say this as well, when you have these people that are moving from the city and moving to our rural area, because that's what we like. We're done with the city. Is they come with a vast of experiences and resources and networking, but they also, hey, this is a different job. It's a different policing, and they bring a lot to the table that you really can't get. But coming here, they aren't always looking for the money.
Right.
They're really looking for the camaraderie and the.
Yeah, it's a package.
It is.
Yeah.
So
Because you really don't want people to come just for the money, because they're not going to stick
No,
around.
they're not gonna
They're
stick
going to be
around.
just jumping, hunting, and chasing that dollar.
correct.
That never works.
No, they're like guns, hired guns, and you don't want that.
No.
What we want are people that want to come in, be a part of our community, and take ownership of making our community better.
Well, we know you'll do it, and you'll lead your team
We're
to
trying.
success. I
We're
appreciate
trying.
it. Again, Mark, let's cut this thing
Yeah.
off. I got Mark Williams here on camera with us, and he'll be withering away to nothing if we
Right.
don't get him to lunch. So
All right.
we really appreciate it. Again, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be checking up, keeping our finger on the pulse of what's
Please
going on in
do.
the Sheriff's Department, and we do appreciate you watching. It's more than a few minutes, but we do appreciate you coming and watching and listening to the Royal Examiner. And thanks again, Mark, so much.
Anytime.
Sure.
Thank you.